will offer solutions to your everyday health problems. Join me, Freedom Boro, every Wednesday from 7 to 9 a.m. here at Nisi Television on the 911 show, where happiness begins with good health. According to WHO, 214 young women in the sub-Saharan Africa do not want to use contraceptives. Is it risky? Is it effective? And how do you know the right method to use? Now that brings us to today's topic, where we'll be talking about reproductive health and contraceptives. And joining me into studio today, we have Mercy Chepkemoi. Mercy, introduce ourselves to our guests.
Okay, good morning. My name is Mercy Chepkemoi, a population health expert, and I've specialized in reproductive health and contraceptives.
Okay. Yeah. Now, what is reproductive health?
Reproductive health, according to WHO, we usually define first health. It's not merely the absence of disease, but when it comes to reproductive health, we specifically do the reproductive, like not the absence of diseases in the reproductive system, and enjoyment of the sexual life and having the desired number of children that you want to have.
What is the significance of reproductive health?
Reproductive health, most of the time, reproductive health is to reproduce and to have the desired number of the children that you want and who you can take care of them. So that's the main significance of it. Like you have the fertility rate should be at a certain period, at a certain number, and this number of children that you're going to get, you can take care of them without them being not getting the basic need that they need.
Okay,
that's why we need to know more about reproductive health.
Reproductive health. Now, since you're talking about having the number of children, the right number of children, and how do we prevent this? Having excessive number of kids.
Okay, you can do family planning. There are a number of family planning. There are natural methods and also there are artificial methods.
So now those are the contraceptives.
That's the types of family planning that we have.
Okay, now what are contraceptives?
Contraceptives are either physical or using a barrier method to prevent pregnancy occurring.
Physical method?
Yeah.
Now, which one is the physical method?
Okay, physical methods can be such as using condoms, using IUCDs. Those are the physical methods. IUCD, intrauterine device.
Yeah. No, that is the coil.
Yeah, that's the coil now.
Another method?
Another method is using condom. There are female condoms and also male condoms. There are also diaphragm. There's also cup, cervical cup that you insert into the cervix, and then it will prevent sperms from going to.
Let's talk about the
IUCD.
IUCDs.
Intrauterine. Okay, IUCDs are intrauterine devices. There are two types of them. There's levogen cell, which contain, that's an hormonal method, and also there is copper T.
What is the difference between the
copper T is the widely used in Kenya. It contains copper that prevents the sperms from getting into the fallopian tube where they're going to be fertilized. And the other one contains a hormone, a progestin hormone, which causes the thickening of the mucus in the uterus that prevents the sperm from swimming to the fallopian tube.
I understand that we have the hormonal contraceptives and the non-hormonal contraceptives.
Sure.
Which are the hormonal ones and which are the non-hormonal contraceptives?
Okay, the hormonal ones includes the pills.
Hormonal?
Yeah, hormonal. Hormonal are usually the pills. And then when you come to non-hormonal, these are like copper T, example.
Copper T is non-hormonal.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, we have to, when you come to intrauterine devices, we have the hormonal, the copper, the levogestinol, and the copper T. Copper T is non-hormonal. It contains copper. And then levogestinol contain a progestin hormone. Yeah, that's an example of an hormonal contraceptives. And also we have emergency contraceptive pills. And we have combined oral contraceptive pills.
Okay.
And we also have progestin.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's talk about the three of them, the three that you've mentioned.
Okay, the three that I mentioned. Yes. Okay, let's start with the COCs. That's combined oral contraceptives. These are pills that are given to a woman. They are usually 28. but the one that are effective are 21. You take it on daily basis in the morning, and then the remaining 7 are just, they are inactive. They are just to increase ions in the body.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when you come to COCs. When you come to progesterone, progesterone.
That is,
they
there's a
contain
hormone called
progestin.
progesterone.
Yeah. So these one contain progestin hormones only. Yeah, they're usually just 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we have the, you've mentioned about the IUDs. Are there any negative effects of using the IUDs, considering that it has copper?
Okay, when using contraceptive, okay, IUCD is the most effective one. It usually prevents pregnancy at least up to 99%. It's just proven 99%. So effects may be when you start using it, maybe you may miss the periods the first few months, and also you may have some pain. Yeah, those are just the main effects.
So you've said that they prevent pregnancy 99.9%.
99%.
99%?
Yeah.
So is there a method that prevents 100%?
100%, yes, abstinence.
So there's no other method that prevents 100% other than abstaining?
Abstinence. We can say condom, but condom depends with the user and how you are going to use it. If you use it correctly, it usually prevents pregnancy and also prevent STIs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now we have the herbal contraceptives. Now let's talk about the herbal contraceptives.
Okay, there are little research that have been done on herbal contraceptives. That I can say that it's just proven that they are herbals that prevent contraceptives. Yeah.
Are they effective? Are they risky?
Okay,
is it advisable to use them? Okay,
we can't know if they are risky or not risky when it comes to scientifically, since they have not been researched. There are little research that have been done on that, and there are little data that have been done. When it comes to herbal contraceptives, it depends with the community. Okay, from the community I come from, I just know about a fertility herbal medicine, but I don't know about the contraceptives.
Okay, so we have this pill that is taken once a month. People call it mchina. In its herbal. Is it, okay, I'm not so sure if it's herbal, but it's called mchina, which is taken once a month. And how effective is it, and is it even advisable to use it? Are contraceptives used once a month?
Okay, a contraceptive that is used once a month, it can, okay, it depends with the provider. And also before taking a contraceptive, you are supposed to talk with your provider and make sure that you are getting it. Yeah, you understand the effects, the non-effects, and also you have to involve your partner. If your partner is getting it or is not getting it, like he wants it or he doesn't want it.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so when you're doing that, when you are going to get, when you want to get a herbal one, okay, I can advise on a herbal contraceptives since it's not proven and it can. You can take it and maybe you get pregnant and then you come back and say, I had this from this, I got this and I want to be using it. So for me, I can advise you can just use an artificial contraceptives or use natural methods of contraceptive.
Yeah. The natural ones, you've said it's the...
Okay, natural ones, we have a number. We have lactational amenorrhea. That's when you are when you give birth before the 6 months elapse and you are exclusive breastfeeding and menses have not resumed and the baby is totally breastfeeding only. You have not introduced even a fluid. Okay. Yeah.
Is there another natural method?
Another natural method, yes. There are also there's withdrawal. There is a withdrawal method, and there's also beading, where you count beading.
Or counting
the days.
Now let's not touch on that because I want us to talk about calculating the days. We'll show our viewers how to calculate the days. But as of now, I want us to look into PCOS, that is the polycystic ovarian syndrome. I understand that this is a situation where you have cysts in the ovaries. I would love us to know what causes the cysts. Is a condition that one is born with? Is it do you get this condition in as you grow in life? And now explain to our viewers what is PCOS.
PCOS, it's called proactive. Okay, it's a cyst. It's a type of cyst which usually happens when during ovulation there's an ovum that is being released. So when you have PCOS, usually don't release an ovum. So you are supposed to release an ovum, but the ovum is not released. This is caused due to an hormone, a male hormone, androgen, which become too much in the female system. And when you have a male hormone, okay, it's usually there in the female. Okay,
you've mentioned about the female hormones. So which are the female reproductive hormones?
Okay, female, we usually have two major, the estrogen and progesterone.
And which are the male reproductive hormones?
There's estrogen. Yeah, estrogen.
Estrogen is the male reproductive hormone.
Yeah, and usually when it's become too much in the body, it causes a suppression of production of ovum. Ovum.
Okay.
Ovum is the what do you call it? Okay, the egg that is going to be fertilized to produce a zygote during fertility. So when you have PCOS, usually have the male the androgen in too much in the body, and that causes you to do not produce the ovum.
How do you say that when you have PCOS, the ovum is not released?
Yeah.
So will you have your periods when with PCOS?
No.
Totally?
Not totally. You may miss periods, and also you may have pain when having periods. Also, the other effect is
you may have irregular periods.
Yeah.
So PCOS causes irregular periods.
And which causes also cyst.
Cyst in the ovaries.
Yeah.
Okay. So which other ways will you know that you actually have you have PCOS?
Okay, you may become too hairy. You have a lot of hair. You become fatty, obese, and also having. When a doctor scans, you can see the ovaries are becoming enlarged. This is because of the cysts that have formed around the ovary.
Now, okay, I have PCOS. I'm having irregular periods. I have too much hair, but now let me focus on I have PCOS and I'm having irregular periods. How will I conceive with the irregular periods?
Okay, first of all, if you have those signs, just go to the health provider. They will help you. They will have to remove the cyst to make sure.
So the cyst can be removed.
Yeah, the cyst can be removed. Surgical.
With which method? Surgical way. Okay.
Yeah, you guys just go to. You go to the theater. They do surgical. They remove the cyst and remove all the cyst, and then the ovary being given medicine to avert the procedure, the infertility. But in most of the time, it may cause permanent fertility.
Permanent fertility.
Infertility.
Permanent infertility.
Yeah.
So, can PCOS be healed completely?
It depends. Since the PCOS is genetically, if you
it's genetical.
Yeah. If in your lineage there's someone who has PCOS, you may happen to have it, and if you realize early, it may be removed early and it may be healed. But if you realize at advanced effect, there will be too much. It will take long to reverse it.
Other than having the surgery to remove the cyst, is there any other way? To prevent it, to cure it?
Medical methods, but these are not effective. You can be given drugs to suppress the androgen, to make the androgen in the body to go to lower limits.
Are there any diets, certain meals that I can take that can suppress the level of PCOS?
Okay, since PCOS also causes you become obese, you can also change lifestyle. You can change lifestyle. Since if you are obese, that's one type of a lifestyle disease. You can try changing your diet and also doing a lot of exercises to make it go low. Since if you are obese, you have PCOS, you can also get diabetes. Yeah. So,
since we've touched on infertility, which are the common, and we say that PCOS can cause infertility. Which other things cause infertility in women?
In women, it can be caused when the fallopian tubes are blocked, that can be just natural when fallopian tubes are blocked, and also can be because of fallopian. There is also cancer.
Cancer causes infertility.
Yeah, if you have ovarian cancer, you can't conceive.
You can't conceive
Since you cannot produce ovums.
Yes.
And also, if you have blocked fallopian tube, you can conceive, and also it can be genetically.
It can be genetic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, if your uterus is too small, it cannot accommodate a baby. So when the ovum is fertilized, yes, but when it comes to fallopian to the uterus, it can't be accommodated there, or it cannot be attached to the uterus.
So that is for someone who has a condition who has a condition in the uterus.
Yeah.
So the egg is fertilized because the ovary is functioning well. The eggs are okay. But now when it's time for the egg to the zygote.
Yeah, the zygote.
Now it's time for the zygote to come down to the uterus.
To be attached there.
But it can't be contained in the uterus because you have a condition in the
uterus. Yeah. This also can cause you having to, the egg is fertilized in the fallopian tube, and then it's attached in the fallopian tube. Yeah.
Okay, you've mentioned the fallopian tube. There's this condition where the egg has been fertilized. Now it's time to talk from the ovary, make fertilize. Where does the fertilization take place?
In the fallopian tube.
Okay, now fertilization has taken place in the fallopian tube. Now it's time for the zygote to come down to the uterus. But now the zygote does not come down to the uterus. Growth occurs in the fallopian tube. What is the name of that condition? Where the zygote is growing in the fallopian tube, which is it is actually an abnormal. It's an abnormal condition.
Yeah, it's an abnormal condition, and most of the time the baby is not doesn't go to term. It has to be removed, since if it continues staying there, the fallopian tubes might burst.
They might burst.
Yeah, since they're tubes, they're small, so
there's no way a baby can grow in the fallopian tube.
Yeah, it can't expand.
So as a medical expert, you'd recommend that someone who has a condition where the zygote is growing in the fallopian tube, it is better for the zygote to be removed?
Yeah, it's usually removed. Like it's not an option. It's usually removed for the sake of the health of the mother. The tubes usually don't expand. So the uterus expand, the fallopian tube does.
So that one is not considered as abortion.
That's okay. When it comes to abortion, there are two types. There is unsafe abortion and safe abortion.
So that you consider it as the safe.
That's a safe abortion. Okay. Since it is done by a medical provider. Yeah.
Now, we've talked about PCOS, we had talked about contraceptives and the different methods. We have the hormonal, the non-hormonal. Now, I understand that we have the short-term and the long-term contraceptives. What is the difference between the short-term and the long-term contraceptives, and which are they?
Okay, let's start with the short-term. Short-term are just for a short duration of time. It doesn't last more than 3 months. Examples are the combined oral contraceptives and progestin-only pills.
Those are the pills taken once a day?
They are usually pills. And also the emergency contraceptives pills.
Okay.
Emergency contraceptive pills. When it comes to long term, these are contraceptives that take more than 3 years. These include the implants, mostly known as Jadel, which is usually implanted under the arm. You also have IUCDs. And yeah, when it comes to long term, and also we have the permanent ones, which is also long term, the vasectomy and tubal ligation.
Now, you've mentioned the emergency pills. Which are the emergency pills?
Okay, these are morning after pills.
Does P2 fall under the emergency pills?
P2 is an emergency pill.
So, how many times should one take P2 in a year?
In a year. Okay, for an health expert, when you look at it, emergency contraceptives are supposed to be taken during an emergency. So and this can just be once. But you can take it anytime. But if you see you are taking more than once, you have more emergencies, you can consider taking a long-term contraceptives or even a short-term contraceptives.
Are there any negative effects of using the P2 so many times?
Yeah. When you take P2, it usually goes and increase the progesterone in the body, which will suppress the production of the ovum. So the more times you take, the more irregular menses you get.
And I've taken P2 so many times. I've increased the level of progesterone in my body. Now I'm now having irregular periods. Irregular periods are also caused by PCOS, which causes infertility. Would the P2 cause infertility in the long end?
Okay, contraceptives usually don't cause infertility. When we talk about contraceptives, it's usually to prevent pregnancy for a short period of time, but the fertility will come back. But when you take P2, you never know when you are fertile and when you are infertile, since fertility comes with the ovulation.
Okay. Now, as a health specialist, for our young women out here, especially the ones in campus, the ones in high school, would you advise someone to take P2? Because out here, people are taking P2 very many times.
Okay, according to let's WHO, a 17-year-old can walk to a chemist and get P2, but below that age, you can't walk to the chemist. You need prescription from a doctor.
A 17-year-old?
Yeah, from 17 and
But
above.
we have high schoolers who are below 17 years and they're still taking the contraceptives. So it's not even advisable to sell the P2, no, the P2 to I.
Okay, 17 is not, okay, they advise 17 and above.
17 and above.
You can take from a chemist, but below 17, you have to go to a doctor and they prescribe for you.
So whoever is selling a P2 to a 16-year-old is actually doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, he's doing the wrong thing since the kid is not even, okay, they are kids. Okay, it has not been prescribed and then they have not taken even vitals and see what causes them to take the P2.
Yeah. Now, when we talk about contraceptives, many people base it on women. The women are the ones who take the contraceptives. Which are the male method of contraceptives?
Okay, the male method. Okay, there was these pills that were introduced for male contraceptives, but they are not yet to be used by the males, and then there are so many negativity coming about on it when it comes to male. But also we have the vasectomy for the male.
Okay, that is the surgical method of.
That's the surgical method of contraceptives, where the sperms are prevented from getting into semen when ejaculations.
Okay, vasectomy. It's a permanent method.
It's a permanent method.
So once someone has done vasectomy, ni hivyo, hakuna kupata watoto wengine.
Yeah, that's why they usually have some legal things. You have to sign, you accept that I have accepted, I'm going to take vasectomy, and I'll not come back and say I want to be reversed, since it's unreversible. You can't reverse. So
it's like even signing a contract before the
before
the surgery is done.
Yeah, nowadays you have to sign, since you may come back and say, this doctor did this to me, and I did not
tell me. Okay.
Yeah, the consequences.
Okay, so you've said about the pills and the surgery. Can the surgery be done to a woman?
Yeah, we have the tube ligation.
Yeah. Okay, what is that?
Where the fallopian tubes, the oviduct, is cut and tied.
Okay.
Yeah, it's either disconnected to the ovary completely or it's tied.
And it is also permanent?
Yeah, it's permanent. It prevents the sperms from going to the fallopian tube.
Okay. Since
it's tied up the fallopian tube. So the ovum cannot meet the sperm.
Is there anything like freezing the ovaries?
Freezing the ovaries. Okay, that I can't say more.
You can't you can't explain more about the because I have heard before that when you freeze the ovaries, it will stop the periods from coming, and when you don't have periods, then it means that you can't get pregnant.
Okay, it's all about ovulation. If you freeze the ovaries, okay, all the hormones in the body are not working. Since those hormones are the ones that causes you don't freeze the ovaries, you freeze the hormones. Like you just prevent the hormones from getting into ovaries and causing all that process to happen. Okay. Meaning you will not produce an ovum. If you don't produce an ovum, the body will just know that there's no menstruation, since there's not that connection between ovaries and uterus.
Now you said that contraceptives cannot cause infertility.
Yeah. So it delays fertility. It delays fertility.
Yeah. So I have someone, there's someone who had asked a question. They had used implants. Okay, we'll talk about implants. Yeah. And as we talk about implants, I want you to answer this question at the same time. Someone who had used implants, the ones that which I inserted here, in for 3 months, and then after stopping using the implants, they couldn't conceive. So now, as you answer that question, also tell us what are implants.
Okay, implants. There are two types of implants. There's they are usually called jadels. There is one for 3 years, and there's another one for 5 years. For 3, both are inserted under the arm.
3 years and 5 years.
5 years, yeah. When they are inserted under the arm, they produce progesterone. Progestin mostly they usually increase mucus in the uterus, which prevents sperms from swimming to the fallopian tube. Yeah. Coming to the question now, he used the implant and he can't conceive, meaning they have not started menstruating.
So you want to say that immediately after removing the implant, like after how long are my periods supposed to come back to normal?
We're supposed to wait at least 3 months to ensure that all the progesterone that were injected in the body have been removed.
So after, like I wait for the 3 months?
3 to 6 months.
3 to 6.
Yeah.
So that person should wait a little bit longer.
A little longer, and also should seek medical advice, since when you are not getting, when you use implants, most of the time you get irregular periods. So to make the periods come into normal, you have to use another contraceptives to avert the.
No, which contraceptives can make the periods regular?
Okay, when you COCs, the combined oral contraceptives, they contain both hormones, so they balance it in the body.
So someone who has irregular periods should seek medical advice and get the.
Yeah, if they are using also another contraceptives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you had said about counting the days.
Yeah.
Now that is
the beading.
The
beading.
Beading.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called beading. Okay. Beading. Beading, since most of the time it's, people usually use beads.
Okay.
Beads like kanyole.
Okay. Now, it's the same as counting the safe days?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you count the safe days? And is there actually like something like safe days? And how do you even calculate the safe days?
Actually, there is safe days. It's true. There is safe days, but it depends with the discipline of the partner and also the agreement between the two partners. When it comes to safe days, usually count from the start of your menstruation. If you menstruate on, let's say,
okay. And let's assume it's 1st of November.
1st of November. That's when you menstruate. You're supposed to have beads. This usually is a method that is usually used by people who have regular periods between 26 to 32. But mostly 28 is most effective. So ovulation usually take place at around 14 day 14, around 14 days after menstruation. So if you are menstruating on 1st November, that's where your first bead will be. Okay, the beads usually are 28 and they have different colors.
Okay.
So they have brown colors and white colors and a red color.
You've said brown color?
Brown, red and white.
Let's start with the white color. What does the white color represent?
Danger days.
So during the white days, the chances of getting pregnant are very high?
Are so high.
The red days?
The red days is when you start menstruation.
The brown days?
The brown days is the safe days.
The safe days are on the brown days? Yeah. Today is let's assume today is 1st of November. Yeah. I've started my menstruations today. I menstruate for the 5 days up to 5th of November. So where are my safe days? When are they going to start?
Okay, you started today at 1st November. Your first bead will be, your red bead will be on 1st. Then you will, each day you have to move a ring on the beads to track your days. So after that will be 5 days. You'll also have to, you need to have 14 days. So 5, and then from 14 you minus the 5 days. Actually, the fertility days, the most peak that you are fertile is between day 12.
Day 12 and?
Yeah, day 12 and 16.
Okay.
But 14 is the peak, like that's where you menstruate. That's where you get the ovulation.
Okay.
Also, before day 12, you are safe, and then after day 16.
Okay, now let's take a short commercial break, but when we come back, we'll know, is it possible, and is it healthy, and is it even risky to remove the implants before the 3 years or the 5 years are over? What is good health? How do we attain and maintain a healthy living? Meet health specialists who will offer solutions to your everyday health problems. Join me, Freedom Boro, every Wednesday from 7 to 9 a.m. here at Nisi Television on the 911 show, where happiness begins with good health.
Tayari amefundisha, amenena. Nashukuru Bwana, taongea mambo ya vipawa vya Roho Mtakatifu na karama ya walimu ni sehemu yake. We may not have a formal way of having a Bible study or even teaching. Taweza kosa nafasi ya kusema sasa chukueni Biblia tunataka tufanye Bible study ukiwa nyumbani ama kwa biashara. Lakini Bwana atapatiana a platform which might be informal platform. And the informal platform ni ya kwamba, labda tuseme kwa mfano ni ndugu yetu Kahodo anaongea na mtu wa nyumba, ama kuna biashara wanaongea juu yake, na wanapoongea, haleluya, huyu Roho Mtakatifu ambaye ameachiwa kanisa kipindi hiki, haleluya, atapatiana a informal platform ndio ufundishe hili neno la Bwana. Any chance that the Holy Spirit gives you as a platform, then pata nafasi hiyo na uitumie vizuri, haleluya. Na ukitumia vizuri, what you speak, it will break their heart.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Hello everybody, it's a sound of praise and worship
Jehovah,
to whom created us to be. Join me, Joy Temba, every Sunday morning from 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. live on Nisi Television for live Sunday service that is filled with the presence of God through worship, word, and encouragement.
If God be for me, we'll love you, Lord. You will live for.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard of cases in the society of people murdering their spouses and their children? What about human beings throwing themselves off buildings? In our universities today, it's a den of crime. Students in drugs, students in habits like homosexuality, which also cuts across in our society today. What do you think? Is there anyone to blame? Do you think it's a major issue in our society? Welcome to the Deval Show, a show whereby we unmask matters happening in the society, matters which the society shies away from speaking about. And this is a place where we'll journey with you as an individual and largely in the society to find the healing of the soul and the empowerment of the spirit. My name is Kesh Susan, and I will be your host every Tuesday from 9:30 to 11:30 here at Nisi Television, where we transform life through media. Welcome to the Deval Show.
You make my heart pumping, you keep my feet jumping.
do we attain and maintain a healthy living? Meet health specialists who will offer solutions to your everyday health problems. Join me, Freedom Boro, every Wednesday from 7 to 9 a.m. here at Nisi Television on the 911 show, where happiness begins with good health. Welcome back to the 911 show, where happiness begins with good health. And as we were talking before we went for the short break, we are discussing about the reproductive health and contraceptives. And as we come back, I told you we'll be talking about the implants and if it's safe, risky, and to remove the implant before its time. Either it's the 3-year implant or the 5-year implant. Yes, Mercy?
Okay, we had said implants, there are 2 types of implants, the 3 years and the 5 years implant. You can always remove the implant if you think you want to have pregnant, if you think you are now ready to be pregnant. So you can always walk into a health facility and you have it removed. But you usually have a card that you are being given when you when an implant have been put in, when you have an implant in you, you're usually given a card where shows the expiring date, the date that you are supposed to remove it before. So, and if you think that now after 1 year, it's now my time, I need to get pregnant, you can just walk in and then you get it removed and you wait. You can't, fertility cannot come back immediately. Okay, that's the question I wanted to ask you. You'll have to wait for a period of time. Okay, now between 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6. So I've had the 3-year implant. Yeah. Now, but after 2 years of having the implant, I then decide now I think I want to have a child. Stangoja the 3 years ishe. So nimetolewa implant after the 2 years. So you mean that actually ni kama 3 years zitaisha nikingoja tu fertility irudi?
No, you can't wait for 3 years.
No, okay, now I'm saying I had the implant for 2 years. You've said that fertility comes back in like 6 months.
Yeah, 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months. So nimekuwa na hiyo implant miaka 2 ningoje for like 6 months ndio fertility irudi. Yeah.
So when you implant and IUCDs are a flexible method of and a flexible long-term method of contraceptives.
What do you mean by they are flexible methods?
Like you can remove anytime.
Ukiata coil mtu anaweza toa anytime.
Yeah, coil usually take at least 10 to 12. Okay, you are not supposed to exceed 12 years. Between 10 to 12 years
with the coil.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can remove in between when you feel like you are ready to get pregnancy. As I said before, contraceptives are just to delay fertility.
To delay fertility.
Yeah. Now I'm not ready to become pregnant, and I need. Yeah, I'm married and I don't want to get pregnant, so I can just use contraceptives, either natural or artificial method, which can delay the pregnancy.
So at the period where I'm on any method of contraceptive, it all means at that time I'm actually infertile.
That year.
When I'm on the contraceptive itself, so that time I'm actually infertile.
You're actually partially infertile. So you can't get pregnant, but everything in the body, you are still normal.
Because you've said it's 99%, so that 1%, I can actually.
But the chances of failing is usually minimum. Okay. Minimal.
But there are those methods that have a high percentage of preventing pregnancy than the others. Yeah. So which method it has high chances of preventing birth?
You can say IUCDs.
That is the coil.
The coil. It usually prevents let's take an example of copper T, which is mostly used in Kenya. It usually prevent the sperms from getting into fallopian tube. Okay, you ovulate as normal, and you'll also have sex as normal, but the problem is the sperms will not get into the ovum to be fertilized. Okay. Since the copper T is usually in a T form, it usually goes to the fallopian tube on the left, on the right, and also it's in the uterus. So when it is in the uterus, it prevents the sperm from going to the fallopian tube, and also it prevents the ovum from coming to fallopian tube. Okay. It kills.
Okay. now about the IUCDs, or is it the same as the IUD?
IUD, yeah.
Okay. Now, I've heard that some people who use the IUDs have a very heavy periods. Is it true?
Okay, it usually depends. Okay, when you are taking any contraceptives, there are people who usually get high periods, low periods, no periods at all. Periods take time to return, and you get most are irregular. But when you, what I can advise, when you're going to get any contraceptives, you're supposed to be checked by a medical provider. Since you may be having some diseases behind, maybe you are having blood pressure or any other thing, and maybe your body is not suitable for that certain contraceptives.
Okay, so when I'm on contraceptives, you mean that my periods can be just all over the place? They're coming, they're not coming, irregular, regular?
It usually depends with people. Some people usually have contraceptives, they usually use contraceptives, and then their periods are just normal.
So you are saying that I should seek medical assistance anytime that I want to use any method of contraceptives. So I shouldn't just rush to any method.
Okay, you're not supposed even to go and get any contraceptives without being prescribed by a medical provider. You are supposed to be explained on different types of contraceptives, and it's also usually advisable if you have a partner, you go together, and then you help each other choose which one is suitable for the both of you.
Okay. Now there are some people who get fat. They have pimples appearing on their faces because they're using the contraceptives. Okay. Well, which contraceptives cause this?
Okay, you can say which one. As I said, different contraceptives. Okay, these are artificial things. They are scientifically made. They're the same as medicine. There's no medicine that has no contraindications. So you may get this one. Maybe I take COCs and I get irregular periods, or maybe I get irregular periods, and also I get pimples. So it depends. It depends with your body.
So you can't say that there's a specific method of contraceptives that makes one to get fat.
I can't say there's a specific one. It will depend. And then if you notice that there are changes in your body after using a certain contraceptives, maybe you have taken an implant, and then after, let's say 3 months, you have gained a lot of weight, and you have irregular periods, nausea, headaches. What I can advise, usually go back to your health provider who provided it for you, and you explain the symptoms, then he will advise more.
Okay.
If you're going to withdraw the implant, or he's going to give you something else
to change the method of
or
contraceptives,
to something that can combine it to make it effective with you.
Okay. Now, for someone who has already given birth, after how long should one take so that they can go back to using the contraceptives?
If you want to use coil, the intrauterine device, it usually immediately. When you give birth, if it's through cesarean section, they usually insert the ICD in you before they finish the cesarean sessions. But if you do a normal birth, natural birth, you can be inserted within 48 hours, like after giving birth and after birth, like the uterus has the amniotic fluid, everything, and placenta have come out, they can also insert a placenta. ICD into you. Immediately within 48 hours.
Won't it cause any form of pain?
Okay, it will be good when you start it immediately, since you will not be having anything, like you are not pregnant, like you are sure bet you are not pregnant, and also your menses will just come back when the time comes.
Okay, now let's go back to PCOS a little bit. You've said that PCOS is genetical. Does it mean that someone who has PCOS was actually born with a cyst?
Okay, probably. Yeah, some people are born with a cyst, and then others are not born with a cyst. As you said, like if you are not ovulating, your ovaries cannot produce ovum. They don't have that enough hormones to produce the ovum. That causes the cyst.
Okay, as for those people who have the PCOS is not genetic, are there any medicines that can make one to have the cysts?
I can't say there is any, but also there is also the lifestyle. No, not the lifestyle. The environment can contribute more
to having PCOS.
Yeah. We had talked back we had said about the ovaries being freezed. If you are working in a place where the temperatures are low, mostly ovaries, the ovum the ovaries produces ovum. So the ovums usually are being killed. The low temperatures. If you work in extreme temperatures, either low or high, the ovums are being destroyed. And when destroyed, they form something like a cyst or something like water. That causes PCOS also.
Okay, now let's talk about contraceptives in young women, people who have not yet given birth. Are they harmful?
I can't say they are harmful. Since also if you are, when you are young, ambitious, you have goals, you have dreams, you are not ready to have pregnancy, you can delay it. You can delay becoming pregnant. Until the time when you are until the time when you are ready.
Okay, now, since you're talking about conceiving, when is the right age for one to conceive? When is it? Yes.
Okay, this is coming from the teenage pregnancy that's high in Kenya. Okay, when is the right time for someone to conceive? It depends with someone, but I can say when you are stable, when you can provide to the family, it's well good.
Is there like a certain age bracket, like between maybe like 25 to 30, it's advisable to conceive during that time? Maybe it's risky to conceive when you are 40 and above?
Okay, I can talk about the higher limit, I can talk about the lower limit. It usually, when you are at 35 and above, the chances of being fertile is become minimal, since the production of ovum also is going low. You have been producing ovums since, ovums, you are born with ovums, but are not mature. So they become mature when you start your menses. So you have been
that is when you're around maybe 14 years.
13 to 14 years, but 13 to 18 years actually. You've been producing ovum. When you get 35, and also you have been working in those extreme climates, moving from one place to another, ovums, others are dying. So you may get by that 5, that 7, your ovum count is down, is just low. So conceiving between the age of, let's say that 7 and above, it's not advisable.
And it's even risky.
It's so risky. So and you'll have to be monitored by the health provider.
So it's actually advisable. You as a health specialist, you're saying that it's actually advisable to give birth when you're below 30.
When you're just between 21 to 35, that's fine.
Are there any, okay, now I conceive and I'm 37 and above, which are the risks?
The risks. One, having a normal natural birth, like giving birth naturally, it may become a problem. You may opt to having cesarean section, and also having some like a normal kid. It may be affected.
So
also.
Chances of having a normal child are minimal.
Not that minimal, but there are usually some cases where you don't get a normal child.
Okay. Now let's talk about menopause. I understand that we have premature menopause and menopause. What is premature menopause and what is the normal menopause?
Normal menopause usually occurs between 42 years to 45, where you start stopping having menses. Yeah, you start having menses, and the progesterone and estrogen in the body becoming low. Yeah, that causes you to now not having the menstruation, and also you are not producing ovum.
Now, what is the premature menopause?
Premature menopause, when you get menopause before the actual 42 years.
What causes the premature menopause?
Mostly when we talk about menopause, it's about only hormones. So when the hormones goes down,
when the level of hormones go down, someone might get the premature menopause.
Yeah. Actually, hormones. Everything when I happen to reproductive systems, it's all about hormones. Yeah.
So when I guess when I have the premature menopause at around 27 years, it all means that one cannot conceive.
Yeah.
Is it reversible?
Premature menopause. Okay. When it comes to hormones, maybe you have an hormone injected into you, then you get it back.
Is there a way that the hormones can be injected back?
Yeah, there are usually some artificial hormones that you are being injected.
Artificial.
Artificial hormones, yeah.
Okay.
But
So
that's not in Kenya.
okay, no, so it's not done in our country.
I don't know if it's in Kenya.
You're not sure about it.
Yeah, but it's there.
Okay. Now we have the, how do I say this? The okay, still on the premature menopause. Okay, other than the hormones, the low level of hormones in the body, what else causes the premature menopause?
I can say, okay, I can say there's other methods. Maybe lifestyle diseases. You can get premature menopause.
Like which diseases?
Obesity.
Obesity causes.
Yeah, if you are obese, you have a lot. Like you have a lot going on with your body. Like you have a lot of fats. Meaning,
Fats.
yeah, fats.
Okay.
See, obesity come along with being fat, overweight.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're overweight, your body may take chances or taking care of the overweight than producing the hormones. Okay, and generally menopause usually occurs due to lack of enough hormones in the body.
Okay.
Yeah, the sex hormones. Yeah.
Now, you say that menopause can start in between 42 and 48 years. And if it occurs earlier, then that is considered as the premature menopause. Now, what are the? Okay, now you've also touched on obesity. Are there any risk of being pregnant when one is an obese?
When you're obese, there's a lot. Okay, when you're pregnant, there's a lot that takes place in the body. Your body structure usually changes. You have to accommodate the baby. The child also is using a lot of your calcium and all that, blood and everything, and you're also obese. So most of the time, the people who are obese, they're usually advised to have a bed rest most of the time, like take care of themselves. Like if they have a work, they may miscarriage. So most of the time, the people who are obese, they usually have high chances of miscarriages than a normal person.
Now, let's talk about abortion. We've mentioned about the safe abortion, isn't there?
The unsafe abortion.
Now, we've already talked about the safe abortion, which is advised by the doctor. Now, which is the unsafe abortion?
The unsafe abortion are these ones that are done in barabara sijui wapi, and the things that are being used are unprofessional.
What are the risks of getting the unsafe abortion?
Okay, the risk of getting unsafe abortion, one, you may think you are removing the fetus, but actually you are removing the whole uterus.
The whole uterus.
Yeah.
And when you remove the whole uterus,
you can just totally become infertile. And also you can have a risk of having ectopic pregnancy. Maybe you may not know that you don't have uterus, and then you get pregnant. So you may get pregnancy on the fallopian tube, the ectopic pregnancy.
Now look into that camera. Talk to that young girl who is actually pregnant right now. She does not know what to do. She's pregnant at a young age. Maybe the father is not ready to take responsibility of the pregnancy, and maybe in her mind she's thinking about of undergoing the unsafe abortion. Now talk to that young girl who's thinking about that and tell her about the dangers of going through the unsafe abortion.
Okay, when it comes to abortion, okay, being pregnant, it doesn't mean it's the end of life. There's always life after giving birth. First of all, when you are pregnant and you don't know what you want to do, the first thing that you're supposed to think, don't think about doing abortion. Since there are a lot of implications coming from abortion, and also our constitution doesn't advise on abortion. There's a lot of legal rights that goes about that. First, if you abort, that's killing. You have killed an unborn child. So, for me, for that person who is pregnant right now, just carry the baby to term, have the baby. There are a lot of well-wishers. There are a lot of teenage homes that usually that nowadays are taking care of teen moms. They can go there for social support, but also being pregnant, it comes with a lot of things. You become mentally unstable. So if you are thinking of abortion, meaning there is something that's behind the thinking of abortion. It's not the abortion alone. It touches on mental health. You are mentally disturbed. Maybe you are studying. Your studies have been disrupted. So you need to seek advice first, professional advice where you are being asked, where you are being told on how to take care of yourself during the pregnancy and after pregnancy. And if the person doesn't know, if the one responsible for the pregnancy doesn't want to take care of the kid, usually, nowadays women are being empowered on how they can help themselves and how they can work independently. So they can seek advice, they can seek help from the county governments. County governments usually, they have rescue centers. I understand this pregnancy didn't come from just a normal, someone who you know. It may have occurred due to sexual gender-based violence, where there are a lot of rescue homes. So you can go to the county government, the county health government, where health providers, they help you, give you the counseling on mental health, and also how to go about after giving birth.
Now, so my view, I've heard about the risk of going through the unsafe abortion. So if you're out there, you're thinking about having an abortion, so just don't do it. You have had the risk. Your uterus can be removed in the process of thinking that you're actually removing the baby. And that can actually, maybe the right time that you'll be wanting to get pregnant, maybe that will not even be possible. So if you're thinking about it, just don't do it. Just carry your baby to term. Kuna artist Mimba Song akasema mtoto anakujanga na sahani yake. So just carry the baby. And if you don't want to get pregnant right now, and you're not even sure if your boyfriend or your man can take responsibility of your pregnancy, then just abstain. Our health specialist has told us when we're starting the show that a good method of contraception is actually abstaining. So now let's talk about surrogacy.
Okay, surrogacy, where you have someone carry a baby for you.
Yes. What leads to that?
Okay, I don't know if it's happened in Kenya, but I've seen in outside countries. Okay, surrogacy, this is where the husband, okay, they are both, they don't know, okay, the woman can't carry the baby into term. Maybe the uterus has a problem. Some people usually have complication. When pelvics was being formed, it didn't get to mature and cannot contain a baby. So they usually opt for surrogacy. So you remove your ovum, and then the husband removes the sperm. They are being, okay, the fertilization takes place in a tube, and then, okay, the zygote is implanted into another person's uterus. Yeah. Okay,
now let's take a short commercial break. But when we come back, our health specialist will tell us more about surrogate mothers. What is good health? How do we attain and maintain a healthy living? Meet health specialists who will offer solutions to your everyday health problems. Join me, Freedom Boro, every Wednesday from 7 to 9 a.m. here at Nisi Television on the 911 show, where happiness begins with good health.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard of cases in the society of people murdering their spouses and their children? What about human beings throwing themselves off buildings? In our universities today, it's a den of crime. Students in drugs, students in habits like homosexuality, which also cuts across in our society today. What do you think? Is there anyone to blame? Do you think it's a major issue in our society? Welcome to the Deval Show, a show whereby we unmask matters happening in the society, matters which the society shies away from speaking about. And this is a place where we'll journey with you as an individual and largely in the society to find the healing of the soul and the empowerment of the spirit. My name is Kesh Susan, and I will be your host every Tuesday from 9:30 to 11:30 here at Nisi Television, where we transform life through media. Welcome to the Divulge Show.
Tayari amefundisha, amenena. Nashukuru Bwana, taongea mambo ya vipawa vya Roho Mtakatifu na karama ya walimu ni sehemu yake. We may not have a formal way of having a Bible study or even teaching. Taweza kosa nafasi ya kusema sasa chukueni Biblia tunataka tufanye Bible study ukiwa nyumbani ama kwa biashara. Lakini Bwana atapatiana a platform which might be informal platform. And the informal platform ni ya kwamba labda tuseme kwa mfano ni ndugu yetu Kahodho anaongea na mtu wa nyumba ama kuna biashara wanaongea juu yake. Na wanapoongea, haleluya, huyu Roho Mtakatifu ambaye ameachiwa kanisa kipindi hiki, haleluya, atapatiana a informal platform ndio ufundishe hili neno la Bwana. Any chance that the Holy Spirit gives you as a platform, then pata nafasi hiyo na uitumie vizuri, haleluya. Na ukitumia vizuri, what you speak, it will break their heart.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Hello, everybody. It's a sound of praise and worship to whom created us. Join me, Joy Temba, every Sunday morning from 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. live on Nisi Television for live Sunday service that is filled with the presence of God through worship, word, and encouragement.
If you gotta be for me, we'll love you, Lord. You will live for.
Good health. How do we attain and maintain a healthy living? Meet health specialists who will offer solutions to your everyday health problems. Join me, Freedom Boro, every Wednesday from 7 to 9 a.m. here at Nisi Television on the 911 show, where happiness begins with good health. Welcome back to the 911 show, where happiness begins with good health. We are still continuing the discussion on reproductive health and contraceptives, and before we went for the short break, we were talking about surrogacy.
Okay, on the matter of surrogacy, this is where you get someone else to carry for you pregnancy to term, but the baby, they usually, when the baby is given birth, you usually take your own baby. So this happens when the woman can conceive but cannot carry the baby into term due to complications in the body. Most of the time, usually the uterus can accommodate the baby. Maybe the uterus is small, or maybe the uterus, the uterine walls, the baby, the fertilized zygote can't attach to the uterine walls. Yeah.
Now you've talked about the uterus being small. Is it a condition that one is born with, or?
Okay, when you are growing up, these are natural things. Maybe you may find yourself the uterus didn't mature enough, or maybe it gets to a limit where it cannot expand more than where it is like currently.
Okay, now what causes miscarriage?
What causes miscarriage?
And what is miscarriage for those who might not know what is a miscarriage?
Okay, miscarriage is where the pregnancy comes out before the age of 20 weeks.
20 weeks in months is
Weeks.
in
That's for I think 5 months.
5 months.
Yeah.
Okay, what causes
5 or
it?
6 months. What causes it? There are usually a lot of things that causes it. It may be due to pre-existing condition in the body, high blood pressure. Most of the time, high blood pressure causes miscarriage. When you have high blood pressure, that's where too much blood is pumped or maybe too low. You have that condition. You are on and off the hospital, and then you may find like one of these fine days your pressure was so high, and then it affected the pregnancy, and then it's come out. And also, let's say lifestyle diseases, lifestyle conditions. If you're taking alcohol and cigarette smoking, this may cause. These are some of the lifestyle that you're taking that you are risking yourself to being to having miscarriage, since alcohol and smoke are toxic.
Okay, so they can actually lead to miscarriage. Now let's assume I was pregnant, I may miscarriage. After how long can I conceive another child?
Okay, you can wait a little bit, you heal first, then the uterus come back normal, the fertility returns. Okay, when you are pregnant, most of the time, your fertility comes back after a few months, from 3 to 6 months. Okay, it's usually from 3 months, where you start having your menses back. So you can wait until you have your menses back, and then you also have to involve your health provider. If you had a miscarriage this time, you should not go around and get pregnant before involving your health provider. He or she should be in a better position to advise you if you are ready to have a baby like currently or not, if your health is now stable.
Now we've talked about infertility in women. Now let's talk about infertility in men, because it's actually there, but most of the time in our community think that when a couple does not have a child, it's actually the reason is actually the woman has the problem. Now let's talk about infertility in men.
Infertility in men usually happens when the sperm count is low in the ejaculations. Ejaculation is the semen that is produced during sex intercourse. Okay. This is sexual intercourse. So this may be caused due to low sperm count, and also may be caused due to blockage of sperms. Sperms now they don't get into the semen where they are mixed and then they are ejaculated. Currently, what causes for infertility in men most of the time it's when the sperm count is low. Many things that happening currently, where smoking, taking alcohol, a lot, excessive alcohol, may have caused sperms to being low count, and also some sperms are unviable. You may be having sperms, but they are not viable. They cannot impregnate someone.
Okay, so there's a difference between having a low sperm count and having viable. Yeah. So what causes the two?
Okay, low sperm. Okay, they are caused by the same thing, but when you are having low sperm count, this is the production of sperm in the male reproductive system is so low, and okay, the number of sperms that usually gets into the fallopian tube, they're usually few, since they are fighting. They're usually being released in a large number into the vagina, then they move to the fallopian tube. And if you want to become pregnant, that's where we will come to ovulation. The ovulation is the peak day where you can become pregnant. So let's say you had unprotected sex today. Let's say it's on your day 12 and you are supposed to ovulate on day 14. So you see that's 2 days before ovulation. So if the sperms are low, you have low sperm count, the number of sperms that will reach the uterus, the fallopian tube, are just none. Since along the way, the sperms get killed. Since they're swimming toward, they're fighting, and then the general condition in the uterus doesn't allow the sperms to survive.
So if you have a low sperm count, the sperms, and some of the sperms die along the way. So very few sperms will actually reach the ovum, or even none.
Will actually reach the fallopian tube. So before the ovum come to the fallopian tube, it will get, the sperms are already died, so will not become pregnant.
So can viability of the sperms and low sperm count, can they be treated?
Okay, first of all, before getting even medical treatment, you now change the lifestyle. Just become eating healthy, less alcohol consumption, or totally no alcohol consumption, smoking, reduce smoking completely, then you may increase the chances of fertility in men. And also there are fertility drugs that can be given to men that may avert the same, that increases the sperm production and sperm viability.
So if you've had men out there, don't blame your woman if you don't have children. You can actually be the cause as to why you as a couple don't have a child. Reduce your intake of alcohol, reduce your intake of bang, like in a shisha, all of that. Reduce the intake of all these things, or actually stop using them. Maybe you're the cause as to why you're not actually getting the children now. Mercy, let's talk about discharge. Discharge in women. What actually causes the discharge? What is the normal color of discharge?
Okay, there are usually different types of discharge. Okay, usually happens in different stages of life, in different stages of cycle. A cycle is that 28 days. Okay, let me use an example of 28 days. That's a normal ovulation. So on day 14, there's usually it's usually a clear and mucus. It is clear and stretchy, stretchy discharge. That means you are fertile. Okay. Discharge can be caused by infections, and also there are normal flora in the body. Like you usually have the discharge normally, but there's normal ones and then there are abnormal ones. So it depends with the color.
Yes. Now, which color shows that the discharge is not normal?
If you have pinkish or red, meaning you are almost your menses, and if it's not almost your menses, it may mean you have bleeding between menses. So you may be having problems with your vagina or any part of the reproductive system that has caused the spotting, the pink or red discharge. And also this can be a cause of cervical cancer. You have an early stage of cervical cancer. If you don't go to regular screening of cervical cancer and then you get the red or the pinkish, it can be a sign, or a sign. You can go and ask your health provider they check for you for early stages or any other infection. That's if you're not waiting for any menstruation. Okay. And also, okay, let me go to the next one. The next one is the clear one, which I had explained, the ovulation. And then there's also brown, grayish. Okay.
That's an abnormal
That's
discharge.
an abnormal. You may be having a UTI.
Okay, now what is UTI?
Infection. Intrauterine, uterine infection.
Okay, what causes the UTI?
It's caused by, it's a bacterial infection, bacterial and fungal infection, which usually affects the reproductive, the outer reproductive system. Normally, you usually have normal flora. Okay, the normal flora that you usually have fungus in the body, but it's to a limit.
Okay.
So when it exceeds the limit, you may get the infection.
Okay. Now we have one of our viewers asking now, what causes spotting during early pregnancy?
Okay, this is when the fetus is attaching itself into the uterus. They may be spotting, but it may not be that much. Just the attachment and making the uterus to be comfortable with the new attachment. Yeah. Okay. So if it prolongs to be that much, it is usually advisable you go to the gynecologist and then it checked if maybe you may be spotting and it's a miscarriage. Yeah. Okay. If it's a lot.
Now, as we wind up, how can the Ministry of Health improve the reproductive health sector, we have some contraceptives which are not available in the Kenyan market. We have the harmful contraceptives that like the once a month pill, which maybe can cause some issues. We've said that we're not even sure whether we have surrogacy in Kenya. So how can the Ministry of Health improve the reproductive health center?
Okay, for reproductive health sector, when the health was devolved, it now depends with the county. Okay, they can empower the community. When it comes to county, that's a devolved. That's now we are talking about a central county. I can take an example of Nyeri County, where the reproductive health sector the health sector is now devolved and they are doing well. So they can, first of all, they empower the community on the availability of the family planning. Since so many remote communities where you get people who are having a lot of children, they don't know there is existence of contraceptives. They empower them about the contraceptives, tell them the advantages, the disadvantages, the effects, and what implications it's coming to the economy when there is a lot, when people are producing more and they are not getting it. Yeah. So, and the Minister of Health, they should also allocate more funds to the reproductive health to ensure that we have contraceptives, family planning methods on hand for people. And also many health providers, there are few health providers that have been trained on provision of long-acting contraceptives. So they should be, more of them should be trained to ensure that they get, we have a lot of health providers in the market and providing the long-acting method to the communities.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on to today's show. I know my viewers have learned a lot. We've learned about surrogacy. We've learned about the unsafe and the safe abortion, the different methods of contraceptives and the different hormones. Thank you so much, Mercy, for joining us on today's 911 show. Thank you, my viewers, for listening to us and tuning into Nisi Television for the 911 show. Let's meet next Wednesday at 7 a.m. for another episode of the 911 show, where happiness begins with good health. Thank you so much.
What is good health? How do we attain and maintain a healthy living? Meet health specialists who will offer solutions to your everyday health problems. Join me, Freedom Boro, every Wednesday from 7 to 9 a.m. here at Nisi Television on the 911 show, where happiness begins with good health.
The house of rest. Welcome to Nisi Television. 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 The house of rest. the house of rest. Welcome to Nisi Television.
Greetings friends, my name is Florence Karameri, the CEO of Kitenge World International. We deal with all kinds of outfits, wedding outfits, kids outfits, ladies outfits, couple goals of fabrics you can choose from, and we deliver countrywide. Fabrics are available both in retail and in wholesale. We are located in Juja Town, Deakin College Building, shop number 4.